Good evening, good people. You are welcome to F.I.N.D Relationship. With me this evening is Reverend Caleb. But today we are dealing with the 30th episode, episode 30. We've gone a long way.
Long way.
And we trust God that it has been helping you. So today we want to look into how to handle an abusive relationship. But before we get into it, Pastor Caleb, can you greet the viewers?
All viewers around the world, you're welcome again to Wednesday evening here in Cape Town. And we give God the glory. The 30th episode. The 30th episode, in other words, if you get down to our YouTube channel, you're going to see 30 messages on marriage. And they're not just messages, they are tools, they are instructive tools that can help you in making decisions, in conflict resolution, in understanding marriage, and if there are any area of the marriage that is having problem, these are tools. And because it is on the internet, it can be a generational instrument that can help anybody anywhere in the world. It's our token of contribution for our 25 years marriage. So every one of you watching on Facebook, it is important that you create a watch party and just get your friends, get everybody to F.I.N.D Relationship platform. Thank you for every one of you giving us feedback from Nigeria, from United States, from Caribbean. We thank God for every one of you. And South Africa, it is awesome. It is awesome. We are celebrating 30th episode. Today is dealing with abusive relationship. One major thing about abusive relationship, and that is what makes it very difficult, is that a lot of people in an abusive relationship, they find it difficult to accept that they are in abusive relationship, because to them they find it embarrassing, to them they find it something shameful to them. And because of that, most people find it difficult to accept that their relationship is abusive. Other people manage it by simply making excuses. They have excuses, either they excuse their spouse, or they excuse themselves, or they excuse whatever that is going on in their marriage situation. But what I want to tell you is this, because it is possible, it is nice that you don't tell everything that is happening in your relationship. You don't know who is listening, and you don't know who will be of help to you. It is good, even if you're excusing your spouse, making excuses, even if you're living in denial of the situation, but I want you to know that excusing it and denying it, and if that is all that you're doing, it's not going to change the situation. So you need to get help. You need to listen to some of the tips that we need to give you today. We are focusing on two major aspects. One, indicators of abusive relationship. What are those things that indicate that your relationship is abusive? And then we can give you some tips today, as we normally do on this platform, in order to show you some of the things that will help you. So let me bring in woman of God to tell us what are the indicators, what are the very things that shows that this relationship is abusive.
Yeah, we have a lot of indicators, but this evening I think we want to major on 4. The first one is the fear of your partner, the fear of your spouse. The next one is excessive control. And the next one is verbal abuse, then physical abuse. When this 4 is in your relationship, there is abuse in it.
Wow, that means that your relationship will be described or diagnosed as abusive if there is fear of spouse, if there is excessive control, if there is physical violence or physical abuse or verbal abuse. Let's look at some of these things. Let's look at it. Let's analyze it. Abusive fear of your spouse. What exactly are we looking at here? Because I think, yes, in every healthy relationship, the dominant atmosphere in that relationship should not be fear. It should be respect. Can you talk about that?
Yeah, in a relationship that is healthy, it should be a relationship where each one respects each other, not being afraid of one another. So when you're in a relationship and you are afraid of your spouse, when you are in a relationship you are controlled by fears, it means that you are being abused. You are being abused. For instance, I know of a woman, she was being abused. Each time the husband's call comes into her phone, she's afraid. The man is not there. The man is not physically there. It's just a call. But to see, she will be saying, oh, I don't know what I'm expecting. I don't know what is going to happen. I don't know what next. Now, picking the phone, she's shaking, she's scared. So such a relationship is not a healthy one. It's not a healthy one. The person is being abused. That means you're dominated by fear. Respect is very important. Respect, you need to understand what respect is in a marriage relationship, and that ought to be the atmosphere. In respect, it means that each spouse values or appreciates the value that each other, the spouse brings upon your life. You appreciate the value of your wife in your life, or the value of your husband. Is quite different from fear, because fear is paralyzing. Fear is an emotion that stiffens you and makes you not to express yourself the way you ought to be, because you're living in fear. You're living in fear in a situation wherein you don't know what to expect. You don't know the mood of the man. You spend all your life trying to figure out the expected mood. Now that he's coming back home, who knows? The lion of the tribe of the house is coming back home. Everybody, the children, the wife, everybody is all paralyzed. Everywhere goes just quiet, because the lion of the tribe of Judah is coming. But now it's not only men, it's not only the husband. The other day I showed you a clip on Facebook was it in Durban airport, where a lady in the airport were beating the husband. This beating, no be small beating, it was real beating. She was beating the husband to the extent that even the baby that the husband was carrying fell off. She was still beating the husband. The husband matched the baby. She was still beating. It took the intervention of everybody in the airport, not in bedroom. And I was like, if this lady can beat this man this way in the airport, what happens when they are in the bedroom? So that man is being abused physically by the wife. So when we talk about abuse, it is not only the husband, it is vice versa. I know a lot of people here. I know some people that in my presence as a pastor, I have to grab the husband out of the hand of the woman because the woman wanted to kill the man. So women should not think that this is only men. So many women are abusing their husbands. So we see that stigma of fear. Another one that you mentioned is excessive control. What does that? How does that go? Yeah, I want to explain that this way, that it is someone else living your life for you, through you. You are not the one living the life. Someone else is living the life for you.
That's in the control, in the issue of control.
Yeah, in the place of control.
Yeah. But you know, I have control over you, and you have control over me. It's not, when we are talking about control, in that is we are talking about excessive control, because control is different from influence. Influence should dominate the environment of the marriage. You know, in influence, it's your capacity or your ability to affect the behavior or the outcome of somebody's character or whatever somebody want to do, and that is what God wants. That's what marriage ought to be. It ought to be that I influence you, but I don't hijack your life. I make you to do something that you ought to do, but you are doing it happily. You are doing it not because you are coerced, not because you are forced into it. So every husband, every wife must understand how to use influence on your spouse and not control. Do you know who I am? I'm the head and the breadwinner of this house. You understand what I'm talking about? Taking advantage.
Negatively.
That's it.
Yeah.
A situation also, you remember this particular couple, you have to make sure the wife doesn't answer anybody's call. The wife doesn't answer, relate to anybody. If the woman is going, it have to be his guy. It have to be the time that you want him to do. You understand all those control of what uses, who uses the car, what time, and if you're having a joint account, you understand. The other one say, bring the money and put it on the feet of your husband, and then the husband you're putting it upon is one of the stingiest person that you can think of. There's nothing wrong if a woman brings her money onto the husband, or the husband shares the same account with the woman. That is perfectly well. That is okay. But you need to understand that should not be a platform of control. Control is important. Control is important as an indicator. The moment it is there, you know that this is heading into abuse. You mentioned some other thing again, and that's verbal abuse. What exactly are we looking at?
Verbal abuse is where you abuse the person with your words.
Yes, you just talk down the person.
And I believe it's one of the worst abuse we can think of.
Wow.
Yeah,
wow.
Either from the man or from the woman. When you talk down a woman or you talk down a man, you make the person feel as if it's nothing. You make the person feel that the person is a trash. You speak to the person to the point where he or she is seeing herself as not having anything good.
Self-confidence is gone. Self-value
The person becomes timid. You can't confidently come out. You see your spouse coming out to talk, is looking at you. So make sure if there is no mistake going on.
You know, the other day I was listening to Miles Muro, the late Miles Muro. I was listening to him on one of his programs. He said something. He said words don't affect men or the husband. Words affect women. That opened my eyes, because it's like women experience words. They don't just hear words. Women don't hear words. Women experience words. It is unlike the configuration of the male man, that the male man can hear word and then logically he dismisses if it is not who he is. But if you look at a woman and say, ugly you, even if it is the most beautiful woman, she begins to experience the ugliness that you spoke about, but even though it is not the real thing on ground. So it is important that that's an indicator. When a man talk down on you, or your wife talk down on you privately or publicly, is physical abuse. When your words become the greatest shambok that you use to flog the man, the woman, it is something. You look at your husband, you say, Paul, you look at what your men are doing. You are here. Nothing is happening to you. You know, all those things. So all those verbal abuse, those verbal words that brings down your spouse, they are physical abuse. You might be there now, you don't know this abuse of a thing. You are going through abuse. The last thing, the fourth thing that you talked about was physical abuse. This one now is beating.
Yeah.
That's not beating.
Beating your spouse.
Hitting your spouse.
Yeah, I think that is also in a high rate
Very
relationship now.
But
I say to people that it's only a madman that will beat himself. So when you beat your spouse, either you're a man or you're a woman, it's just an evidence that you are crazy. It's an evidence that you are mad. Because the Bible made us to know that the two of you have become one body. So by the time you hit your body, if you see me hitting my body this way, you know that something is wrong with me. So in relationship where we find people beating up either the man or the woman, beating up the woman, and the kids are there, the neighbors are there, you are not even ashamed of that. I don't think that is good.
No. Do you know that here in Cape Town, there's this lady I heard about that was running after the husband on the street, and he was just shambucking the husband like that.
That's a big shame.
So it is important. It is very much important. These are indicators of abusive relationship. When you are into that excessive control, you are living in fear in your relationship, you are going through verbal abuse, and you are going through violence, physical violence in your relationship, it is an indication that your relationship is abusive. Now, how do we handle it? What do we do? I'm going to give you 4 tips on how to handle it, and that's how we're going to round up anytime from now. One of the steps that you need to take in dealing with abusive relationship is, number 1, you need to have what I call sincere, open, and practical conversation. I didn't just say conversation. I said sincere, open, and practical conversation. That's one of the things that you need to do. We're going to come to make that open. The second thing that you need to do in order to be able to deal with it is that you need to keep a healthy relationship with your family and with your friends. Your family and your friends. The third thing that you need also in managing that is stress management. You need to have this skill, understand how to manage stress, because every abusive relationship goes with high level of stress. The fourth thing that you need to do, which we're going to elaborate anyway, is that you need to understand the dynamics and the pattern of abuse. Because if you don't have these 4 things, there are basic things that you need to do. Number 1 is that you need to do what? Number 1, you need a sincere, open, practical conversation. Number 2 is that you need to keep a healthy relationship with your family and with your friends. And the third thing is that you need stress management. And the fourth one is you need to understand the patterns and the dynamics of abuse. Now let's look at it. When we talk about practical, open, practical, sincere, open, practical relationship conversation, you need to understand that there is nothing going on in your relationship that is not answerable to conversation. You can never build a relationship, repair a relationship without having conversation. That's why communication is the life wire of every relationship. A healthy communication is a healthy marriage. A sick communication makes a sick marriage. The depth and intimacy level of your communication decides the level and the depth of your communication relationship. So you need to understand that. So when you begin to get into into communication, you need to understand that your heart need to be open. You're not judging anyone. Mama, can you say something about that?
Yeah, we find out that when it comes to abusive partner will always avoid conversation. They always avoid conversation. So that is why when you want to put up a conversation, you must look for someone that is trustworthy, or someone that is trusted, or someone who is skillful in
conflict resolution management.
Yeah. You need someone that is. Then when you come there, it is not a judgment throne. It is not a place where you say to people, "This is my right."
You defend yourself,
or
you justify yourself.
Except if your aim or the reason is not to mend the relationship. If it is to mend the relationship, it is being straight and opening up to see the issues, finding out the reason why the abuse is taking place. So that is what you expect, or that is what you should do. The conversation, be open, don't be violent. When you are violent, the discussion will end.
Okay, and then the family and friend, one of the things that abusive people, abusers in relationship do is to disconnect you from your family. They disconnect you from your family, they disconnect you from your friends, valuable friends. I'm not talking about those your junk friends who takes you to all manner of things, who bring gossip to you. I'm talking about valuable friends. Abusive people will take you, disconnect you from friendship that will help you so that they can be the only one that will say things into your life. So it is important that in managing abusive relationship, you are maintaining a healthy conversation with your family and your friend, because it is important unto you. What about stress management? How do we go about it?
Yeah, you'll find out that when you are going through abuse, the stress level is always very high.
Yeah, blood pressure,
always very high.
diabetes, all those
and
things.
I do say to ladies, I say to them when they come for counseling, I'll tell them, I say to them, in this, you are permitted to be selfish. Say to them, because you have to take care of yourself.
Self-care.
If you don't take care of yourself, then at the end of the day, either you are dead. When you are dead, the relationship you are fighting for is also gone. Someone else takes your place. So when you are going through abuse, the first thing you should do is to take care of yourself. Number 2 is to learn how to relax. What are the things you do for relaxation? Make sure you do those things. Calm yourself down first before you start looking at someone else. The same thing with a man. If your wife is abusing you, please, you must first of all take care of yourself. Make sure your blood pressure doesn't go high. Make sure you do things that you enjoy. After you've been living before the man or the woman came into your life, you have been existing. So don't allow this to take away your joy, to take away your happiness. Do everything possible at the border of righteousness to relax and be happy. Care for yourself. That is the first key.
Okay, finally we talk about understanding the pattern and the dynamics of abuse. You need to understand that there will never be any abusive relationship without, first of all, a platform. There will be an unfair play field established. So if you understand the dynamics, you can nip it at the bud. You can stop it before ever the actual abuse comes in. So you need to be sensitive to watch your relationship, watch your spouse, watch what you people are doing, so that you don't create the platform for that abuse to happen. For instance, the scripture, the Bible says that both of them were naked and they were not ashamed. Did you see that? Both of them were naked and they were not ashamed. Now, you begin to see that the unfair playing field is generated when you remove your clothes and your spouse is putting on his clothes. You understand what I'm talking about? Why will I be open in the relationship and you're closing up? Why is it that I've given all my life to make this relationship work, but you are sharing your life with your mother, with your brethren, with every other person now? Why would I be saving money for us to build a house and you are the one that is sneaking money back to your relations? Whenever there is an unfair playing field generating in a relationship, is bound to end in abuse. Woman of God, do you have any other thing to say?
Yeah, why must my own phone be open while your own phone is coded?
My own
why must you gain access to my phone?
And then I can't have access to your phone. Something is brewing.
Something is happening. Why must I open up my friends to you?
But I don't know your friends.
I don't know. So when such things happen, that is the beginning of abuse.
You know, it's right. We normally can say spouse have a joint account, but it's not just a good counseling to everybody. I'm telling you, because if I work my money and put in our own, and you are a stingy person, everything is centers on you. You are very selfish. You are very no. That platform is an unfair playing field. So you must watch it. And don't blindly get into that platform, because it will definitely lead into abuse.
Yes, because the way to marry a foolish man
is different from the way
to marry a wise man. Vice versa.
Whether it's a foolish spouse, a male man or a foolish man, it's not only men that are foolish. Yeah. There are some also foolish men. It's not the same. Okay. thank you for this time around. We believe that you have enjoyed this platform, you enjoyed this time today. Get hold of those 4 things that are indicators and look at the 4 things tips that can help you to manage and take it up from there. But if you need further tips and further help, you can get hold of us. Get down to our website, lifemending.org, www.lifemending.org is our website, or you check us on Facebook and any other means. Get to our YouTube, just subscribe, press the notification button so that you can have a notification of the next upload. We believe that our world is getting better because the world was created by words, and we are repairing your relationship by words. Thank you, DMG. Thank you, every one of you. Thank you, 1 Point Travel. Chicks is wedding this Sunday. Wow! You need to get to our platform, see one of our contributors, one of our back state staff. He is wedding this Sunday. One of the fruit of fine relationship. Be in our church this Sunday, Life Mending World Mission, 157 Votrika Road, here in Cape Town. Rav Chick is wedding. And it's going to be an awesome wedding on this platform. God bless you. We see you next week.